Hi everyone, Good Thany Boy Tano here, the internet's busiest music nerd, and it's time for a review of the new Injury Reserve mixtape, live from the dentist's office. Injury Reserve, I'm very familiar with. Cal is actually my injury reserve. When I get hurt, Cal will be replacing me. Good thing I'm very careful, and it's not very likely that I will ever get hurt. Injury Reserve is an Arizona hip-hop outfit. I'm messing up. These guys have been dropping a series of pretty great singles throughout this year, and I've just been hyped for the moment they put out an album or a mixtape. It's finally here. And I present to you live from the dentist's office. On this project, you will hear the musical stylings of Steppa J. Groggs, MC, Richie with a T, MC, and also Parker Corey, the producer of the group. And I just really like what these guys are doing. It just sounds like a really cool modern spin on an old classic. A lot of Live at the Dentist's Office sounds like some really chill, thoughtful, laid-back jazz rap, especially when Steppa is on the mic, feeling some strong, like, A Tribe Called Quest vibes. But there's nothing about this record that feels like a true blue throwback or super-duper nostalgic or anything like that, because Parker Corey's beats have a seriously modern flair to them, from the way that he samples to the very rubbery sub-bass in his tracks. In a way, it kind of feels like the stuff the cool kids were doing when they first broke, but kind of like the next logical step past that, like with the weird choppy horn hits all over the song Yo, or the kind of jazzy but off-kilter whatever dude, or the weird quirky banger beat on the song Everybody Knows. Parker Corey's production all over this thing is pretty versatile. I mean, on the song TTKTV, we have a bit of an instrumental at the end that sounds like a dead ringer for something James Blake would do. There are a few instrumentals here that I think take an overt Kanye influence, and again, we're just getting like some bangers, some smoother, more jazzy tracks. It's got a good mix of sounds and styles, as well as a few songs that are just really super low-key and kind of somber and moody. I think these guys not only pull from the cool kids a little bit, but maybe even in a way like Das Racist or Odd Future. The reason I bring up those groups is that these guys don't really seem to take themselves too seriously, and there does seem to be an element of comedy to what they're doing, sort of like in a De La Soul way as well. I would say in a good way, these guys are kind of like an update or a new approach to that native tongue style. It's kind of serious, but it's kind of fun. It's serious fun. And lyrically and just delivery-wise as well, there is great chemistry between Steppa and Richie with a T, who has a way more amped and just like over-the-top approach in comparison to Steppa. Oh my god. And Richie, he kills tracks on this record consistently with rhymes that are just very clever, they're funny, but kind of reflective and personal too, especially on the song Whatever Dude, where he's talking about trying to be a rapper, makes reference to how everybody's trying to be a rapper and how, yeah, I have a buddy up the street, he rapped over the 0 to 100 beat. It's pretty sweet. Really funny, quotable line where the beat changes up to that instrumental for a split second just to illustrate the idea. But he's also talking about how people sort of feel him when he's rhyming and performing, but then go to Foot Locker to pick up some shoes and find him there working. And he's just got so much energy on the song Everybody Knows too, and he does just as well on the more low-key, somber tracks on this record too, like TTKTV. And it's just not Richie doing well on these tracks, it's everybody doing well on these tracks. I think these guys are really great and really versatile when it comes to just doing different songs of different emotional flavors and still coming together with a great track, like on TTKTV, also Washed Up. And I should also note on these songs that these guys come through with great hooks too, and refrains, and just like lyrical routines that are super ear-grabbing and super catchy, whether it be the wishy 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 washed up or the wow 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 wow. It should be noted on the song Washed Up, this is a really sad track, kind of a song about having a hard time finding people who can be dependable and be trustworthy. If there are a few chinks in the armor with this record though, one, I would say there are some tracks that I wish were a little bit longer, and I wish just had maybe another verse or two to them just to make them a little bit meatier, especially with the song Yo, especially with the song Whiplash, which features Chuck English, one of the shorter tracks on the track listing here, especially on the song Snowmen with Glass Popcorn on the track, a fellow Arizona rap artist. And if there was one other thing that I thought was kind of lacking on this record is that the songs that are longer, because there are longer tracks on here that push far past the 6-minute mark, a few of the tracks on here that try to go longer maybe end up in a few places that don't really sound that fantastic, or they sort of do these beat change-ups or make these weird musical transitions that just don't sound that great, like the finishing musical moments at the end of Snowmen. I think just the kind of ethereal beat and the weird high-pitched falsetto vocals just don't sound that fantastic to me. There's also the song Flight, which ends the track off, which doesn't really feel like a song as much as it does like a bunch of random incoherent ideas strung together that don't really complement each other that well. But there are a few tracks on here where when these guys go long with a track length, it's fantastic. Like, I hate to keep mentioning this track, but it's a great track, TTKTV. And there's also the song Friday, which turns from this really jovial party tune to like this really dark bit of late night debauchery really quickly, just with a simple beat change. And it tells kind of a story and has a really big theme and concept to it that I think went over really well. Aside from all that, I don't really have that many complaints about this record. I think it's a great project. I think, again, a couple songs could have been longer. I think a few songs just kind of went into musical territory that didn't sound that great, but those moments just kind of felt like, you know, little weird interludes or add-ons that the songs didn't necessarily need to go into, or maybe could have been transitioned into better, or maybe just could have been composed better to begin with. Aside from that, I mean, a bulk of this record is great. I mean, this is a great hip-hop debut. As far as a modern new hip-hop project, I'm not really sure there's not much more I'm looking for. I mean, while these guys aren't fast spitters or anything like that, I mean, there's nothing really flashy about their flows. They are lyrical in that you can actually listen to their lyrics, engage them. There are quotable lyrics here. There are relatable lyrics here. There are emotional and moving and personal lyrics here. There are just funny, witty lyrics here. You could tell they're actually putting effort into their lyrics, and a lot of personality and character and charisma comes through on these bars. They can flow well. The instrumentals are great. The hooks are there. Yeah, it's not a perfect project, and in some senses, it does sound like a group that is still in the midst of coming into their own, but I think they've made at least a great impression on me with this project. I'm feeling a light to decent 8 on this thing. Transition. Have you given this record a listen? If you have, did you love it? Did you hate it? Wait, you haven't? Then go download it. Go download this thing. Go download this thing. Go download it and give it a listen. Go download it with your computer. Use your computer. Use your computer. Use your computer.